Good morning, Joe.
How are you this morning?
Good, fine, thank you. A little quieter this morning. The house isn't shaking.
Telling you, that was pretty wild for sure. More, I think, than a lot of people expected.
Indeed. I'm glad it wasn't white, that's all.
How did the city fare overall?
A lot of tree limbs, a lot of tree-related issues. We had at least one tree fall in a house on Haviland Street. The Parks and Forestry divisions were extremely busy. All the schools are back online this morning. We had 3 schools without power yesterday. And I believe most of the city's back, but I think there's still spots that they're trying to square away. And thankfully it's not cold. I mean, difficult when you lose power, particularly your heat, but not the intense cold we could have this time of year. So that's a plus.
Yeah, absolutely. Although there were some pretty strong gusts up to 62 miles per hour here and up to 90 miles per hour atop Blue Hill yesterday. So
I believe it. At one point just before noon, I had a group of people in my office for a meeting. And I don't know if it was quarter 12 or whatever, but it seemed brutal. In fact, a gasket on one of my windows just from the inside blew off.
Really?
And fell into the office. And then I had a leak coming in. So there's some real powerful gusts at different points. I know early morning yesterday, felt like the whole house shook at one point.
Yep.
At my home before getting into work. And then, of course, Glass City Hall, you never know if that structure's going to hold up. So a little nerve-wracking. But, I know one of the biggest challenges yesterday was navigating the city because they said the power outages, so many intersection traffic lights were out.
Yes.
That created challenges all across the city as well. But Ed Brennan and his team worked like heck to get that squared away. So, it could have been a lot worse. Number one, we had some flooding issues, but nothing catastrophic. And 2, as I said, grateful it wasn't snow. We'd be digging out for a week.
Yes, that's for sure. City got almost 2 inches of rain, which would translate into over 2 feet of snow. So,
yep, which the kids would have loved.
Oh, sure. early winter vacation, right?
Exactly.
Do you know which schools were out of power for a while?
Montclair, Point Webster, and Marymount.
Okay.
Montclair was the last one to go on this morning.
Okay, so everything is back up and running.
Indeed.
Good news for that. The City Council, as you know, held their last meeting of the year last night and approved some pretty major orders, including the land disposition agreement for the former Ross lot.
Yes, indeed. As you know, Joe, we've been working on this with D.J. McKenna, Atlantic Development. They've done a number of projects in Quincy. They have a good track record. And I know that D.J. is well respected. He's not one of those developers that overpromises or, changes deals in midstream. He's a straight shooter. So, yes, as we've talked about, this one is south of the bridge between Hannon Parkway and the bridge and Bergen and McConville Way. This will include a parking garage, a number of apartments, a food grocer such as Trader Joe's, a bank, a coffee shop, maybe some other amenities. But this was a huge step in getting the phase moving. DJ is, as I said, is excellent, particularly working with retailers, bringing retailers to the city, and I know that he's under time constraints. So I'm grateful the council looked at it, understood this is part of the master plan from day one. This isn't something absolutely brand new. The specific uses are new, but this is in line with the master plan for the downtown. So I'm grateful for the city council for their quick action on it so that we can continue to moving forward.
Is it an actual sale of the land, Mayor? Is there actual money transacted for the disposition agreement?
Yes, there will be.
Okay.
But, we're disposing of the land,
yep.
Which requires a couple of appraisals, which then the developer will pay the city for the value of the land.
Okay, which, as I saw on the order, is $7.3 million. Is that right?
Sounds right.
Okay. And does that include the garage as well, property for the garage?
The developer will build the garage. Mm-hmm. The city will own the garage.
I see. Okay.
Yep.
And does the city...
Much like Kilroy's. Kilroy's was built by Lee Kennedy, who was a developer's choice contractor
yep.
on Chestnut Place, Peter O'Connell's building. So similar process, which allows for smooth construction. If you get two different entities over there, it becomes problematic. So it's a good deal.
I see. And does the city pay for the garage, but the developer builds it?
The city pays for the garage, but the city builds it.
Okay.
Yes, the developer builds it.
I see.
Just like Gilroy's. Yep.
So will there be separate orders coming to fund the garage?
Yes.
I see. Okay.
Yep.
And what's the kind of the process? Is the garage first and then the development, or in simultaneous construction? How does that work?
I think they're analyzing all of that.
Yeah.
The garage, probably the core of that has to go up first because you're building housing around it.
Yeah.
But I don't know the construction means off the top of my head, Joe.
Okay. What about a timeline, Mayor? When does this all get going?
Hopefully we'll be in the ground by late spring.
Okay.
I believe we'll be in the ground earlier on the soils aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you do any kind of project in an old city, you run into challenges with soils, whether it's the soil conditions being not structural fill, or whether we do hit some hot spots with either some petroleum or some other items. For example, with the police station, Father Bills, we found asbestos under the foundation, which slows us down now for several weeks. So you never know what you run into in these urban sites.
Yeah, so I recall the same thing happened up at the animal shelter site.
Indeed, exactly.
Very good. And the town river is not too far from there either, as I recall. That's been moved out of the way, hopefully.
The Town Brook. Yeah.
Town Brook, right, yeah.
Yeah.
And any update on the other Hancock Street developments, the Sam Slater, Joey Akari projects, Mayor?
No, well, if you get on McConville Way, you'll see the fences going up in the back of the buildings bought by the city.
Mm-hmm.
Demolition is imminent on those. Akari's building will follow, and we're waiting on the Slater building as far as their time frame.
Okay. The council also, of course, passed the ordinance for the MBTA Community Multifamily Overlay District. I know we've talked about this in the past, and you seem to think the city is already in compliance or going to be in compliance?
Yes, this is an effort at the state level to help deal with the housing shortage across the Commonwealth.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, Joe, we've been active in this regardless of this legislation. The city has built a lot of new housing units right around the T stations. The Bozzuto project in North Quincy is a perfect example. The Art Deco across from Quincy Adams, another great example. In and around the downtown, close to the Quincy Center Station, another example. So we're already doing it. I think this was a really an initiative to get projects going in those communities that have MBTA access, but really haven't done any development because they're sometimes the towns it's difficult to get anything moving. There's too many cooks in the kitchen, so to speak. I think we're already doing largely what this legislation speaks to. So I don't see any real issue with us.
And also, Mayor, your administration was praised by the Friends of the Ruth Gordon Amphitheater for reviving that facility.
Yes, this past summer, we saw an increase in interest for Ruth Gordon Amphitheater. I know when the Park Department was looking at possible reusing it, people stepped forward, and so we instructed the Park Department to take a step back and did some work to the amphitheater, and when we provided some funding out of our celebrations account to the Friends of the Ruth Gordon Amphitheater, and I think people enjoyed it, and so that's great. I'm thrilled.
Will that continue in the next year?
Oh, I believe so.
Very good. Anything else we should touch on before the holidays, Mayor?
Get your shopping done, Joe?
Oh, of course not.
Plenty of time.
I don't want to rush these things. We have a whole weekend before to get ready for that.
Well, I went out a little bit with my wife last night, taking her, and there's definitely differences between men and women when it comes to shopping. I'll leave it at that.
Some things never change. That's right.
I did a lot of waiting.
Do you have a Christmas wish list for yourself, or for the city, for that matter?
I have a wish list with Governor Haley for sure.
Yeah.
But listen, the city is doing well. I'm grateful in so many ways. One, to serve as a mayor, but also to work with so many hardworking folks each and every day that work for the city, my colleagues in government, the council, school committee members, legislators. The city is thriving, and that's because we're all working together. That doesn't mean we agree on everything, but we're all working together. And I know I've heard countless folks speaking about the beauty of the downtown for Christmas, the excitement of the rink for the holiday season. We're a very family-friendly city, and we continue to do that. So certainly I want to wish everybody out there, regardless of your tradition, of a Merry Christmas and a New Year filled with hopefully peace in our world, good health, and joy. As we know, Joe, it's a troubled world right now. I mean, whether you're talking about the Ukraine or the Middle East or Africa or even some of our inner cities, it's very difficult right now across the world. So I hope whatever faith tradition people participate in, say a little extra prayer for peace in our world.
From all of us here at QATV, to you and your family and your colleagues in government, Mayor, very happy, healthy holiday season.
Thank you, Joe, and it's going to be bringing the year to a close. Another year speaking to you on Tuesday mornings and sharing some information. I appreciate that opportunity and certainly wish you and the entire crew at Access TV a great one.
Thank you, Mayor. Take care.